Welcome to the Stack Supplement Podcast, the premier source for supplement news and reviews.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Stack Supplement Podcast, and it has been a wild ride, I will say that. Last week, obviously, I did miss the episode. We had the Expo, and I always like to bite off more than I can chew, but there was just no way in hell I was going to get round to it. But hopefully everybody visited the site during the Expo time, visited the Stacked Pro Expo, of course, as well. And if you did, you were not short on excitement. The exhibitors and the brands that participated this year, I cannot thank them enough. Same goes for everyone that visited and took part. It was just an action-packed expo. It was pretty much what I had always wanted it to be back in the day when we first did it. It was a difficult concept to communicate, and by back in the day, I mean 4 or 5 years ago, trying to encourage brands to do what they did at traditional expos at my one online was always difficult to try and communicate and encourage, but we always put the brands first. That was always the one thing we wanted with the Stack Pro, was to encourage companies to, we would reward them, we would push back, we would give them the platform to announce new products, and something we didn't really think or feel traditional expos put a lot of focus on. And at the Stack Pro this year, that is exactly what we got. If you tuned in, like I said, you were not disappointed. We got Core Nutritionals launched a new flavor, or made it available for pre-sale for their pre-workouts, Core Fury and Pump. And in addition to that, if you pre-ordered the stack that they had, because there were a couple bundles there, but if you pre-ordered that bundle of those new flavors, Core threw in a special edition Stack T, which I didn't actually know about until maybe like a week or two beforehand, which features a combination of a logo of my logo, Stack's logo, and Core's logo. But that wasn't really where it ended. Like I said, if you tuned in, ANS, they had a big giveaway and a big sale, and they had a preview of their new ANS Ritual Reborn. Ritual, of course, is their truly legendary pre-workout, which was number one on our list of top 5 pre-workouts way back when it first debuted. Who else was in the mix? Inspired began taking pre-orders for its new Devastate pre-workout, Devastate of the Union, which is it's just an exciting formula, to say the least. I talked about this with the other podcast we do over the weekend, the Final Scoop, of course, which you can catch if you haven't. I think it's linked on the Supplement Engineers website. But yeah, the new Devastate of the Union just looks solid. To be honest, Inspired hasn't necessarily been going, I don't know how to say it, they've been less and less edgy and intense as they used to be, and which is something that happens when companies become as popular and it is not mainstream, but just as big as Inspired has. And this really just threw a spanner in the works and was not that trend towards more mainstream, I guess, which was kind of what we got with Devastate Worldwide. This one is just way out of the woods. To me, I think it just brings back that edgy look and edgy formula and ability that Inspired was known for back when we found out about them with Devastate Black Diamond, Devastate White Cut, the legendary Devastate Crimson. This new Devastate of the Union is right on par with that. It's full of stimulants, packed full of stimulants. You got area ISOs in there, a lot of solid amount of caffeine. If I remember correctly, they put in N Extra, which is something we've seen a lot more, many more brands use. It's up-and-coming stimulant, meant to be kind of like caffeine, but it's not. And obviously, instead of just relying on that, brands have been putting them both in. So yeah, it does have ingredients for Pump's performance as well, but the main focus on this one seems to just provide that solid stimulating cocktail, and Devastate of the Union looks like it's going to be delivering that. And as mentioned at the Expo, they opened up pre-orders for it. I think if you go on the site, you might still be able to pre-order it, but they had a bunch of pre-order deals. Who else do we have? Applied Nutrition, they announced a energy drink version of their pre-workout, All Black Everything, also known as ABE. So it's basically the ABE energy drink. I don't know the formula, but it does have, I don't know the full formula, but they did reveal a handful of the ingredients in the supplement, and they are, product or beverage, whatever you want to call it, and they are more pre-workout like, so it's not going to be your typical caffeine, taurine, guarana. They've got pre-workout type ingredients in there to make it more like the original ABE that, obviously this is based on. And that one's going to be launching soon, from what I understand. 4 flavors, one of which is a grape. What else was at the show? It was there were so many, to be honest. There's going to be a bunch that I'm just not remembering. But yeah, oh yes, can't forget Modern Hardcore Nutrition. So Modern Hardcore Nutrition, we introduced a few weeks back, or a month back, I think, with their 5-in-1 multivitamin, Fierce 5. It's sort of like a men's testosterone boosting multivitamin with more than just vitamins and minerals, hence the name Fierce 5, 5-in-1. But they said they had other supplements coming, and we got a glimpse of exactly what that meant at the Stack Pro. They unveiled their version of the Arez pre-workout. So they acquired rights to the well-known and very popular Arez pre-workout, and they're coming out with their own version, basically. They also previewed a pump pre-workout, which obviously, well, from what we understand, is going to be able to be stacked with their the Modern Hardcore Arez. But we don't know what's in any of these products. They've just kind of announced that they're coming in addition to Fierce 5, which is the one we have unveiled. If you go to our site, type in Modern Hardcore or Fierce 5, no spaces, you'll get to see the full formula behind that. But we don't have the Arez, which I'm very intrigued to see. Again, it's shifted brands. Should be exciting to see what it looks like underneath or under Modern Hardcore. But yeah, so hopefully everyone tuned in. It was a great expo, great event. I cannot thank everyone who visited enough. I can't thank everyone who exhibited, everyone who purchased, entered the giveaways, which there was nothing short of a lot of. And yeah, thank you for the event. But we are going to continue, obviously, the podcast as we do usually, and run over the top stories that were announced these past 1 or 2 weeks, actually. And that's in addition to everything that I just touched on about the expo, because there was still a lot going on in the industry. And we're going to start this off with actually a product that we reviewed last week, and this was a pure coincidence that a few days later a new flavor surfaced, and that product was the ESN Designer Bar. Now, I had heard about this bar tasting. ESN, if those are familiar, is a popular European brand, if I'm not mistaken. They're from Germany. Widely available, hugely extensive range of products and supplements and whatnot. And they announced, or they launched the Designer Bar. I can't remember exactly when they launched it. There was the Designer Bar, then the Designer Bar Crunchy, which is sort of a higher protein version, which obviously is crunchy and thicker to give it that extra protein. But we reviewed the regular version, the Designer Bar, and holy shit. I mean, people have mentioned us, this thing was good, and it is the closest competitor we've ever had to the legendary Barbell's protein bar, which is obviously our number 1 rated protein bar or product in the category. This was the closest thing we've had to it. The consistency, the taste, the sweetness, it's all there. There are three flavors. Well, there were 3 flavors that we tried when we did the review, and that is peanut caramel, hazelnut nougat, and I think it's almond coconut. Almond coconut wasn't bad. They were all insanely good, but the almond coconut was, I guess, the closer to, not even average, just closer to above average flavor of the 3. Not bad, had a solid coconut, touch of almond in there, but it was those other 2, the peanut caramel and the hazelnut nougat, that just blew the shit out of me. I was amazed at how damn good they were. The hazelnut nougat reminded me a lot of actually Barbell's nougat flavor that they do. A very noticeable, distinctive nougat flavor as opposed to like caramel, if that makes sense. Sweet, delicious chocolate. Again, smooth as hell. There's no chewiness. It's very much like a chocolate bar. Like if you got an average chocolate bar, same kind of consistency. But of course, we're talking about protein here, a protein bar. And but the peanut caramel, that thing just, Jesus, that thing was amazing. It tasted like a damn Snickers bar. From the peanuts to the sweetness of the chocolate to the saltiness of the caramel, it's insane. The only reason I think when we ranked it number 2 of all the protein bars on the market, the only reason we don't rank it above Barbells is because, let's just put it this way, if Barbells had its original flavors, salty peanut and cashew caramel, and Designer Bar had these 2 flavors, hazelnut nougat and peanut caramel, I'd give it to Designer Bar. But as we mentioned multiple times when it comes to protein bars, variety does win out. And while I'd give the edge to ESN with their star flavors, Barbells has a mountain of other flavors that just kill it. You've got their, as I mentioned, you've got their hazelnut nougat. In addition to their salty peanut and cashew caramel, you've got their white chocolate strawberry. They've got a lemon curd, which I haven't tried. You've got their crunchy fudge, which is solid for an all-round chocolate bar. You can't forget the mint, which was the one that won our best tasting award at the FIBO Expo last year. That one is insane. So, I mean, they have these things that are on par with their other flavors and just offer more variety. Again, if you're not a big fan of peanut and caramel for whatever reason, or even hazelnut nougat, you don't really have many options. So we've always put preference on those products that can deliver, a solid variety of 10 flavors over something that may just be good at 2. But I would be concerned if I were Barbells about the ESN Designer Bar, because it is the closest thing, if not on par and better in some aspects. And it is worth noting, though, that this is a smaller bar. It is a 45 gram bar, whereas I think the Barbells one might be 55, 60 at a guess. I know it's up in that realm. And it has 14 grams of protein. So it's got 6 grams less than the Barbells bar, which has 20, the traditional 20. And the calories on the ESN bar, if you scale up how much calories you get per gram of protein in the ESN Designer Bar, and you scale up that protein to match the Barbells bar, it is a higher calorie bar. Basically, if you have two and a half ESN Designer bars, you get 21 grams of protein, but the calories, if I remember correctly, are something like 240, 250 when I just did the random calculation. So if you eat 1.5, whereas versus Barbells, which is in the realm of 190 to 200 for 20 grams. So even though they're close in terms of taste and consistency, when it comes to nutrition, if balance of nutrition, you've got Barbells wins out pretty much not by a landslide, but pretty good margin. So yeah, it's definitely a bar worth checking out, though. I mean, again, we're not buying these protein bars to get the macros you get in a protein powder, but definitely give it a try if you can get your hands on it. There are a lot of European stores that sell it and ship internationally. But damn, this thing just, I prefer the peanut caramel. You won't be disappointed with any. If you're a coconut and almond fan, try that one, because again, I'm just not a fan of that combination over peanut caramel, and the hazelnut nougat again doesn't disappoint. So definitely grab those. They're all damn good. None of them are disappointing. And as mentioned, while we did drop this review last week, just purely because we had it in the works, in addition to that review, 2 days later, as I mentioned, the one knock I had on the bar was that it didn't have enough flavors. Right, more flavors comes more consistency, comes just an impressive variety and a bigger range to enjoy. So 2 days after our review, lo and behold, ESN goes and launches a new flavor for their bar, which is crazy because the bar itself was launched months ago. And they introduced I believe it was a brownie, like a solid chocolate, full-out, all-out chocolate lovers bar. It is the exact name. Sorry, let's get to just chocolate brownie. Same kind of macros, but Jesus, did they make it look delicious in that picture. I tried to make the bar look delicious in the pictures we took for our review, but holy Jesus, it's basically looks like, because all the other ones had nuts in them, peanut caramel, hazelnut nougat, almond coconut. This one has no kind of nuts to the name, obviously you can tell, and in the pictures it looks like the outer coating is filled with like crispy pieces. And then you've got the sweet chocolate solid outer, and then you've got the doughy, well, not doughy, but the smooth, thick middle. And then they look like they've got like another layer of chocolate cream in the center, much like how the peanut caramel had caramel in the center. So yeah, this thing looks like just a flat out chocolate mess, which I'll probably get my hands on it, but they did tell me there was actually another flavor coming later in the year. They didn't tell me which one or anything like that. Obviously, it's still a while away, but so it'll be finishing with 5. So I'll probably try and get my hands on both of those when the other one comes out. But if you're a protein bar fan, grab it. When you see, if you get your hands on it, it's worth a try, because as I said, there have been very few that have come close, in my opinion, to the taste, texture, and sweetness and candy bar likeness of the Barbell's protein bar. It has been the reigning champion for us since we stumbled across it in Iceland like 2-3 years ago, I think. I think the fellow Swedish brand, what's their name? It's going to bug the hell out of me. Pandy, they did a bar very similar to the ESN one, so smaller, but the macros were a little closer to barbells in terms of macro balance, but a smaller bar, and that thing came close. But there's been very few that are just touching the likeness, the sweetness, the taste, just the complete experience of the Barbells bar, and this is it. So yeah, you can read the full review on our website. Just type in ESN, that is ESN, the letters, and you'll be taken straight to it. Keeping on the snack category and keeping over in Europe, this past week, BPS Pharma announced a new product. Now, BPS Pharma is obviously known for its family of pre-workouts, the Not For Pussy family of workouts, hashtag Not For Pussy. They've traditionally stuck to hardcore stuff, and by hardcore, I mean heavy stimulant pre-workouts. They've done heavy stimulant fat burners. They had a sexual performance supplement. I can't remember the name. All very unique names. If you look them up, you won't be surprised with the pre-workout being called Not For Pussy. So this past week, they kind of came out of the works and dropped something that I did not expect from a brand that makes a pre-workout called Not For Pussy. They announced their first ever edible product. They announced a bag of chips, as the best way you could put it. It's called Be Real For You. It's a very unassuming name and product on the looks of things. It's a bag of chips, very clearly promoted as protein chips, but the even on the front it says real protein, no carbs, no sugar. So it doesn't really kind of tell you a whole lot about it. The interesting thing with this is that it is actually a bag of chips made from real chicken breast. And as far as I know, this is the first time I have ever seen anything like this. It's a just crispy, protein-packed chips made from chicken breast, and obviously being that it's made from chicken breast, in fact, chicken breast is like the only damn ingredient in this thing. There's, on the label, it's got chicken breast, and then you have like the extra ingredients for like flavors such as garlic, salt, and black pepper. That's it. And the macros reflect that it is primarily chicken breast. I don't know how they've made this or how they've manufactured it, but it's insane. Like, I mean, these macros are on par with a protein powder. Not even in the realm of a protein bar. Even the leanest protein bar doesn't come close to this. So each bag of the chips, which as mentioned are called Be Real For You, you get 20 grams of protein, only 130 milligrams of carbohydrates. So I'm not saying this is in grams here. This is a fraction of a gram. And then a fraction of that is sugar. And then 1.5 grams of fat for just 95 calories. So as mentioned, those macros those are on par with the protein powder. Very few protein powders go below the 1 gram mark on carbs. So, and these guys have not just done it by a small margin. This is 130 milligrams. So this is 13% of a gram. I want to get my hands on it. I want to see what this thing actually tastes like. I do have a connection with the brand, but I'll probably just try and buy it and get it shipped, because it's some of these brands are not easy to buy and import, obviously. And I'm intrigued by this, very intrigued. It's not often you see a company who's known for pre-workouts to just come out and drop a never before seen snack. Even for me, never before seen. So you can check it on the site. You might be able to grab it from retailers that ship internationally soon, if not already. But yeah, it's very interesting, very interesting. I'm curious as to what crispy, mostly chicken breast chips taste like. But yeah, more information on the site. But instead of, we'll stay in the functional realm, and I'm going to talk about a story that I actually talked about with the guys on the Final Scoop podcast over the weekend, and that is there's a company that's come out called Brave Robot, and it wasn't a traditional story that we would share on Stacked. It's very, I mean, it's as common or mainstream as it gets. There's not really much functional side to this product. It's basically an ice cream company. They make a pint size of ice cream, packed full of sugar. I think it was 49 grams per pint. So again, nothing super healthy about 49 grams of sugar per pint. Calories about up there as well. It's not super high in protein. But the reason we shared this, and I mentioned this on the podcast with those guys over the weekend, is it's made with animal-free whey. And we shared this because this, as far as I know, would be the first time I've ever heard of whey protein being made without the cow. And that is exactly the way this is promoted. A plant-based, vegan-friendly... Well, not plant-based, sorry. I think it's just vegan-friendly. I always just use those two together. I don't really know what it's based, how it works. They've very lightly put a description on their site that doesn't really go too deep into it. They just say that it's the texture and taste of whey, dairy, but without the cow, which is... As I mentioned this to people, this is crazy that this didn't hit the supplement industry first. The plant-based protein powder category has been on a rise for like the last year or two, seeing several brands enter it, each competing with trying to make it taste good, right? Trying to make it taste great, and it's an uphill battle. It's not easy to do, because even the best tasting plant-based proteins out there, such as Beam's plant-based protein, goes vegan, protein switch from Sweet Nutrition Australia, it's an uphill battle. Even those ones, as good as they are, they probably, in my mind, taste on par or right around your, I guess, an average or above average tasting whey protein. So to hear that you can now get the benefits and the taste and texture of whey protein without the cow and be vegan friendly, it has to, light up the eyes of a sports nutrition company in a category that would very deeply need something like this. And a brand, if they got their hands on it as an exclusive, or even just got their hands on it as the first, it would truly set them apart. Because this is what the Brave Robot is promoting this, their ice cream as, tasting like regular ice cream, but is your traditional creamy dairy, but no cow. So it's very intriguing, to say the least. Again, there's nothing too super special, I guess, on the health and functional nutrition side about the ice cream, but I mean, it looks damn tasty, of course, with 49 grams of sugar, but it's I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, my hope was that if we share this, that some brands reach out, find out what it is they're using, and use it themselves. That's very much my intention, because I mean, it's endless, really. Vegan protein powder is the start. You could then throw it into vegan protein bars, vegan protein chips, on-the-go shakes, vegan protein ice cream. I mean, it is truly a endless, really, in the sports nutrition realm. So hopefully someone picks up on that. Hopefully they hear about it, see that we shared them, and they find themselves a brand in the industry. But you can read a little bit more about that on the site. Again, the brand is Brave Robot. It's an interesting concept, interesting product. But we'll head back now to the US market with a few stories to round out this episode, and we have these are coincidentally all mostly energy drink stories, which is fitting. But we'll start with the one supplement story of the three that we're going to round out this episode with. And there's Rep Sports, the team behind Arez Energy. They were a supplement brand before they did the Arez Energy drink. In fact, the Arez name came from the Rep Sports has a fat burner called Arez, and that came before they did the energy drink. But either way, they announced a new amino supplement. They launched it over the weekend, and it's quite interesting because Rep Sports is, while Arez has kind of been running them for a while with the energy drink being so popular, they haven't really added too many entirely new supplements over the years. I think they did just recently drop a testosterone booster and Test Pro. And so this past weekend they dropped an amino, which is their first amino they've ever done, called Recover 7. It is a recovery supplement with 7 key features to help with recovery, hydration, and focus. So it's kind of like a comprehensive, advanced intra-workout amino type supplement. It comes with EAAs, tyrosine, choline, taurine, coconut water, and glutamine. The doses and everything's on the site. You can check it out. But the key is that over the weekend they launched it with a deal where you get 2 bottles for the price of one. So instead of paying $38 for the one tub of 24/7, you pay $19 each, or $38 for 2, however you want to look at it. But you can read a little more about it on the site. But we now move to the 2 energy drink stories, which I'll tell you are important afterwards, but why they're extra important this week. The first one is from USN. Now, if you follow the site, you'll know that we share USN's new product details from all of their realms. So USN is a huge international company based out of South Africa, but they have a different lineup of products in every single, well, not every single, but in most countries they compete in. So if you go to the UK, the variety they have there is very different from what you'll get in the US, and in the US, it's different from what you'll get in its home country of South Africa. Very similar to other big brands like Cytec, Barbells, and obviously their home country is the one that gets treated to the best. And US and South Africa, for a while, they've had an energy drink called the Kush. Originally started with the I can't remember if they even named it. They just called it, it's the Kush. It was the Kush energy drink. It was part of a partnership with I think it was the Orlando Pirates soccer team, if I remember correctly. That was the very first one. It was a black with a white skull. But since the launch of that, they have then switched to several other flavors. They did a Red Fury, they did a Gaming, and then they recently did a Havana one. And they announced this past week that, well, they teased, but very clearly announced, they had a picture of 2 blacked out or shaded cans of the Kush energy drink in its Gaming and Red Fury flavors. It was now revealed that, well, not revealed, sorry, but again, it alludes to the fact, alongside that image, they had the picture of the text saying that something's coming to the US, or Kush is coming to the US. So, well, they didn't explain it out in black and white. It's very much pointing, if not confirming, 99% that the Kush energy drink is coming to the US in that red and blue flavor. We don't know what the ingredients are going to be. We don't know if they're going to be keeping them the same. But the Kush energy drink only hit the market last year, so it won't be coming in the original white or that green Havana, but it's been pictured in the blue and the red. Again, I'm not sure what ingredients it's going to have. In the South Africa, it has 300 milligrams of caffeine per can, and it has a few other ingredients, but it's hard to tell if those are going to be the same when it comes to the US. But the drink is basically, I'm going to say, it pretty much looks like it's coming. But yeah, you can read a little bit more about that on the site and find out more. But the last energy drink story we have, and this is an exciting one because it is in regards to one of, it's back and forth, but it's one of my favorite energy drinks out there, and that's the 3D energy drink. For me, over the years, it's been a tight battle between 3D Energy and America Energy, going back and forth as they've kind of released new flavors each, and each time they've just been getting better, and one goes ahead, and 3D Energy's Cotton Candy put it ahead for me, and then America drops Liberty and Justice, and they put it ahead again for me. So, I mean, those two are some of the best energy drinks, but this week we got a picture of a gold flavor, which is fitting because the last new flavor 3D Energy launched was obviously Chrome from earlier in the year, which is a strawberry lemonade. And this would obviously be a nice pair and metallic pair going from Chrome to gold. And yeah, so the picture showed up thanks to Amazon in the US. So it pretty much confirms this is a real product. It's going to be available soon, I suspect, with Amazon uploading it. We don't know anything more outside of the fact that it's gold. It's coming soon, and you'll be able to grab it from Amazon. But if you're a big 3D Energy fan like me, you'll be hyped just to know there's another flavor. They haven't done a flavor I didn't like. I think the one I liked the least was the original red, but I'm just not a big cherry fan, to be honest, anyway. So that's just me. But yeah, so that one's coming soon. And yeah, you can get a look at it yourself on the site. Just type in 3D Energy. In fact, when this goes live, it'll probably still be one of the top stories in the features section. But the reason it was perfect that we finished off with those two stories is because this week the first round of the Clash of the Cans is open. Now, for those who haven't followed Stack long enough to know what Clash of the Cans is, it is basically our energy drink showdown. We pretty much pit every energy drink in the industry against one another, and we try and find the most popular one out there. It's pretty much what we do with protein wars and protein powders, except energy drinks. We found that even though we like what we like, as mentioned, 3D in America, everybody has their own tastes, and much like protein powder. So we felt a contest to find out who's the most popular was the perfect fit. And we did that contest last year. C4 Carbonated came out on top against Arez, and so it's back this year. We have a cast, is it bronze? I think it's cast, a trophy cast out in bronze. We've got the cast made ourselves. It's a beautiful trophy. I should have pictures of that soon. But yeah, definitely check that out. All you got to do to take part, show your support, is go to clashofthecans.com, click the energy drink you want to vote for. You can do it once every 24 hours. You can do it, it's entirely up to you how many times you do it, but the maximum is once every 24 hours. And then, this is the first round this week, so the top 16 will then go into the quarterfinals and then semis and then grand final and so forth. But so definitely check that out. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back again next week.